I'm Eric Boehm. I served in the United States Air Force. I retired with the rank of Master Sergeant. I was in 1977 to 1997. I always knew that I would be in the military. My father served in the Navy in World War II, and his father served in the Marine Corps during World War I. So I always knew it was kind of like my obligation. I wanted to go to college and go the ROTC route, but my parents moved me from suburban New York City to the wilds of Montana, and I kind of rushed things along, and I enlisted actually to run away from home. When I got to basic training in Texas, I immediately felt at home. I knew that's where I was supposed to be. I was very comfortable with the military lifestyle. I was very comfortable with the discipline and the way things were working out for me. It just felt very natural for me. The food, as I remember it in basic training, was the worst food imaginable. I think I lost weight. We were running and marching a lot and doing a lot of exercising, but I think I really lost weight and got in shape because the food was just not edible. Initially, when you're 17, 18 years old, it's not mom's. And once you get used to it, though, it's okay. So serving 20 years, you kind of start out at the bottom of the food chain. And I was promoted quickly as a young airman. I just really enjoyed working on airplanes, and I studied really hard. There was a lot of work to do for training. But my first real assignment, once I was fully trained, was Dover Air Force Base, Delaware, where I worked on C-5 Galaxies, which at the time were the largest airplane in the world, and one of my favorite airplanes to work on because everything was so big and easy to get to. After that, I had a special duty assignment with the Air Force Orientation Group near Dayton, Ohio. After that, I was transferred to RAF Upper Heyford in England. I wanted to go to Germany, and the base I was supposed to go to popped up on the base closure list. And Germany was really my first choice. I ended up going to England because there was nothing available in Italy, which was my second choice, but England was great. It's very difficult, family life, when you make that choice. Yeah, the kids were with me there in England, and we did take one vacation where we drove down to the ferry, and we drove through France, and we drove through Belgium and Germany and Italy. There was a lot of travel. There was a lot of demands on a family. I took them with me to England, and they actually came home a little early because it just wasn't, my wife just wasn't in for that long haul. The worst day, we had an airplane crash. And the first thing you think of, especially if it's an airplane you worked on the night before or that morning, the first thing you think of is did I do something wrong? Did I miss something? It's a shame that the crew was lost to their own fault, but it was real, it was a little bit of a relief knowing that what I worked on did not fail them. The best day of my career in the military, flying from New Mexico all the way to Glacier National Park in Montana. And I noticed that the pilots, in their planning, I noticed they were flying right over my mom and dad's house, which was in rural Montana. I didn't tell mom and dad I was coming, so I could see them come out on the front porch, and there's this Air Force HH-60 helicopter hovering over their house, and out comes the guy in full flight uniform. They have no idea it's me until I took my helmet off. And it was a proud moment for my dad, I think. I'm way more proud of his service than I ever was of mine, because he actually flew in combat in World War II. But it was a good day for me to make Dad proud. I'm the curator of aviation and aircraft restoration at the Intrepid Sea, Air and Space Museum. After I retired from the Air Force, it was a bit of a culture shock. I was 17 when I went in, and after 20 years, you kind of get set in your ways, and I was very ingrained in the military way. My first job out of the military was with a display company. I did a lot of customer relations, and I feel much more comfortable in the museum. You do form a lot of friendships in the military. I had nothing to compare it to because I went into the service at the age of 17, right out of high school. A lot of people that I met, a lot of people come and go. Some I wish I could find again. But from the guy who worked alongside of me out on the airplane to some of the commanders, I still have contact with a lot of these people, and I always will for the rest of my life. My military service was something I decided to put behind me and just move forward. And wasn't something I advertised or anything that anybody knew about. The first Veterans Day was really important to me, though. I actually got phone calls from friends and things like that. So I didn't see that coming, and it was really, really meaningful. It's about me remembering my dad and remembering my grandfathers because of their service. And I kind of taught that to my kids. And my kids were there for my military service, and they saw what I went through, and I don't have to really teach them about it. So I really spent a lot of time teaching them about the generations before me. So if they want to tell my stories to their kids, that's fine. But for now, I'll just tell my dad and my grandfather's stories to my kids.